All righty. Well, super excited to have this week's guest on, Mr. Robbie Michaels. Robbie and I have crossed paths recently over the last couple of years. For those of you guys that don't know, maybe you're listening, maybe you're watching. Robbie's been in the in-home sales space for quite some time. So I know he has a wealth of knowledge to share with everybody today. And so I'm going to ask Robbie some questions. But first of all, welcome, Robbie, to Coffee with Coleman and the podcast here.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah. So first of all, I just kind of want to set the stage here. You've been in the in-home water space for years, and now you're kind of taking on this coaching aspect to helping other water dealers around the country. When did you realize that most sales problems weren't really sales problems? And like, what's your space in the marketplace with some of these water companies that you're working with?
Well, I realized a lot of it wasn't with the product itself or the water itself. I realized back then it was the sales rep. My first week in training, I had no sales experience. I was 19 years old. I'm sitting there with these guys, like eight guys in a class. It was a brand new dealership in the hometown of Florida where I come from. And the end of the first week, I didn't get any leads because there was limited leads. I was the new guy, 19, no experience. But they gave me these other guys, and they were actually sitting there talking to each other. Two guys knew each other, and the one guy said to the other guy, "Look at this. They're sending me on a damn engineer. Engineers don't buy nothing." And the other guy said, "Yeah, look at this. This sending me out to this rich neighborhood. They don't buy anything either." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, no wonder they didn't give me any leads. I can't sit there and do that. I can't look at a piece of paper and decide if somebody's going to buy before I even go to the house. Well, 2 weeks later, I found out that was all a bunch of baloney. And I started realizing that one of the biggest problems is the sales rep themselves. It's usually not the program. That's when I started seeing it back then. And what I've done now, since I retired from Rainsoft in 2008, I was off 14 years watching my daughters grow up, and then to go to college, and then I started getting calls from people. "Hey, Robbie, you still as good as you used to be?" I'd say I haven't forgotten nothing, and they started asking me, "Well, they got this new thing, Robbie, now called Zoom, where I can beam you up right in our office like Star Trek." I said, "Well," and they started asking me to do meetings for them and trainings for them and helping them, and I said, "Okay, I'll help you." And that's what led to what I'm doing now. I started getting more calls, more people want training. Because most of these dealers out there today, they're all by themselves. Nobody's helping them. In the old
Yeah.
days, the factory reps used to have, quality people running around, helping their dealers. But all these big corporations have bought it, and that's one of the things they eliminated. Now they got
Yeah.
guys out there on salaries, don't know anything about the water business. They're just run around and visit the dealers. I don't know what they do, but they're not training. They're not teaching them. So a lot.
One of the things you just said, Robbie, which is super interesting to me, and I think this goes for all sales organizations, not just the water industry, but this idea where, a sales rep dispositions the lead before they even get started. And so one of the things I was taught early on in my sales career was every lead has the same level of importance, right? And so it doesn't matter if Robbie's an engineer and Josh is a high D personality where he just wants the bullet points, but the idea is that you give it your best and it has the same level of importance every time you walk through the door, right? I mean, I
Correct.
don't see where
Yep.
these guys get the idea that they can judge a lead by a piece of paper, right?
See, I always looked at a lead. It was nothing more than an excuse for me to go to the house. Now it's
Right.
my job to turn that thing into the sale. That's why the sales rep makes the big bucks. But
Yeah.
most sales reps today, they're not even taught how to get into the home. They go to the door, the husband answers, "I don't know anything about this appointment." My wife said, and she's, "Did you set an appointment?" "Yeah, I did." "Well, we're not interested." And the salesmen don't even try to get in. They just leave, get in the car, go back to the office, say the lead was no good. I'm teaching them how to get into the house, how to
Yeah.
set the appointment. This is the difference.
Yeah, so that leads me kind of into this next question is like when you walk into a company today, or like you said, an owner or a sales manager reaches out, Robbie say, "Hey, we got this idea, we got this Zoom thing now, or Teams or whatever you can kind of like plug right into my sales office." When you walk into that company today, like what's the first thing that you look at to know whether their team is going to struggle getting into the home?
Well, after I get into the office, this is when I was in my office day or now with the Zoom. Once the pleasantries are over, I want to get in the sales room. I want to see the sales board. Sales board's going to tell me a lot. Then I
Mhm.
want to talk to the sales reps. And one of the first questions I ask, "Who sold this week?" What was the objections you've got? Well, most of the time, if they're trained properly, they get none. And then the guys that didn't sell, why didn't they sell? What was the reason they told you they didn't buy? Well, the guy told me he couldn't afford it. What about you, Joe? Well, he told me he had to shop around. What I want to find out from these sales reps is why they didn't sell, because I want to fix that problem while I'm there. Okay. So they don't do it tonight on their dealer's expensive leads. And at the same time, they got to make money. See, a lot of times a rep, like in factory reps in my day, or even today, they have a pre-planned meeting before they get there. Well, in my side of the deal, you can't do that if you're going to be effective, because I could be standing up there talking about goal settings and positive attitude and all this other stuff. And that's not what they need. These guys are sitting there listening to me thinking, hey, I got a mortgage payment this week. I got a car payment to do this week. I got bills to pay. I got a family to support. Tell me something that's going to make me money today. And a lot of guys don't do that. You know why they don't do it? They can't. They themselves aren't skilled enough to figure it out. So what I do is I go in there and find out what the problem is. I fix it before I leave that meeting. I teach them how to handle that objection. I have them pitch it back so they know it. So tonight they go out and that salesman leaves there motivated, excited, because they think, or she thinks she's got a problem solved. That's the secret.
It's interesting you mentioned like a lot of these home improvement companies, water business, it could be bath fitters, it could be windows and doors. The methodology is the same, right? But like you mentioned it, these guys are running demos every night. And,
yeah,
the problem that reared its ugly face last night whenever they didn't get a sale is the same problem they're probably going to incur this evening when they walk.
Absolutely.
Right. So how often do you think it's the belief from the rep, like, oh, I'm not going to get this deal because I'm not qualified or the lead's not qualified, versus the problem of the customer? Like you mentioned it, like objections really aren't objections. I think they're more of observations. I'm a customer. I say something. I observe it as a sales rep. But you mentioned like, how often do you believe it's the sales rep's problem versus the customer's objection?
In the water business, because of what we're selling, where everybody needs this, no one can really sit there and say they don't like it or shouldn't get it. It's not important. It's the sales rep. And it's usually because the sales rep's not trained properly. A lot of these dealerships today are bringing these guys in. They hand them a script and a kit and say, go study it and go get some leads, go run the leads. There's no formal training teaching these people how to do it. When I ran my regions, when I was at Rainsoft, we had the highest retention rate. We had the highest closing averages. We had more dealers than everybody else. And all my regions led everybody else because of the training. There's no such thing as a natural born salesperson. They're trained. And as a sales rep, you're only going to be as good as who trains you. It's simple as that. It's like a coach in sports. The best coaches usually have the best players. Same thing in the sales business. The best sales reps usually have the best sales managers, the guys teaching them. And that's why some of these dealers you deal with your SOAP program, the big ones, they got probably the best sales managers and they do everything right. Where the guys aren't doing much, they're not. So I say it's a sales rep.
Yeah, and it's super consistent. There's a lot of persistency behind it, right? It's the same foundational aspects that they train on every day. Like there's no like, I don't know, quick fix, or there's no like magic bullet in sales, right? It's doing the same. It's like shooting free throws. You can't be good day one. You just got to repetitively do it. So
you got to drill, rehearse, practice, so you know it by instinct.
So that leads me into the next thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about demos and how you run a really good demo. But what does a great demo actually feel like from the customer's perspective? A water dealer or a sales rep walks into the home. Like I, as a consumer, like what's my perspective, and what does that a really good demo look like?
Well, most of the time, the appointment is set up with a customer where they're going to get their water tested.
Yep.
And they get to the house. That's what they're expecting. So the first couple of tests should be the hardness test, and then we walk them down the hardness chart, show them where their water is. Most cases, it's off the chart. Then we show them a precip test, which gets their interest when we show them why it's off the chart, why it's not so good, in a visible form where they can understand it. Now we've got their attention. Then I started into the company and the rest of the sales presentation. The battle in our business is won at the sink. By the time you get done with your sink demo, and when I say sink demo, I'm talking about base cloth test, soap flask test, hand wash test, slippery slope, hair raising experience, glass wash test, shock and awe. When I'm done with those tests, if I did them right, those people have already made up their mind whether they want this or they want it. Okay. And another thing most of these sales reps are doing today, they're in there selling the wrong thing. They're in there selling equipment. That's not our product. Our product is water. That's our product. They're going to look at that unit for 3 or 4 days after they install it. And the only time they're going to look at it after that is when it's time to put salt in the conditioner and change the cartridges in the RO. What that wife is looking at every day is what's coming out of her kitchen sink, how her laundry looks, how her dishes look, how she feels when she gets out of that shower, whether she's still scrubbing up the tubs and the shower doors and the tile, That's what she's looking at every day. That's what we should be selling. But the biggest problem is most of these salesmen in there are selling, saving money, and nobody buys anything that saves them money. People buy things they want. So we have to get these people to want this thing when they buy it. The dumb salesman sells it. The smart salesman puts on a presentation so good the customer buys the darn thing.
That solves the problem, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
you just mentioned it. So the like for all of you in the audience that are listening to this, like Robbie teaches this stuff. And if you guys are in the water business, I would strongly suggest bringing Robbie in and potentially having him train, whether it's a one-man band and a sales team or it's 20 or 30 or 100 sales reps. Like this guy knows what he's talking about. And so much so, like I've talked to a lot of your, I guess, clients, I would say, and it's like the same basic fundamentals every time on a call with Robbie. And it's just again, like repeat, rehearse type of thing. So for all you guys listening, this guy knows what he's talking about, ran a really, really successful dealership. Please, if you have any interest, reach out to Robbie. Got another one for you. What's the one thing sales reps say during the demo that quietly kills a deal?
They spend too much time talking about saving money and equipment rather than benefits, which are going to benefit the customer. Customer sitting there looking at what is this going to do for me? You know what I'm saying? That's what is it going to do for me? And that's, again, that's where we lose them. We lose them in the sync demo. For example, let me give you an example. Most salesmen do the soap blast test. You know what I'm talking about. And they talk about, Tom and Mary, we're going to start off with 3 drops, which is $3, 3 cups, 3 boxes, and we're going to save all this money. Well, that's fine. Okay. But that's not going to get that wife. Okay. And it's not going to get her convinced on your soap program either. What's going to get her convinced on the soap program is this. When we do the face cloth test and we're wringing out and the water's gray, I say, Tom and Mary, this is something that never made any sense to me. I put my clothes in the wash machine. They're soft when they go in the wash machine. I'm supposed to be cleaning them. But yet when I take them out of the wash machine, if I didn't have fabric softener, they're cakey, sticky, and hard. Why is that? Because of the stuff here in the raw water soap flask and that stuff here in the precip tube stays behind because we take the wet clothes out of the wash machine, put them in out of the wash machine, put them in the dryer kicks on, heats up, evaporates the water, and leaves all that stuff behind in your clothes, just like it's leaving it behind in your shower doors, your bathroom tile, your tubs, and everything else in your home. Right there, that wife says, uh-huh.
Right.
He gets it. Yep. Tom and Mary, let's look at the flask here. The treated water is crystal clear with the bubbles. The tap water is gray with scummy stuff on it. This is something else that never made any sense to me. Bleach. Why do I need to use bleach? I put my white clothes, white towels, white sheets, white linens, white socks in the wash machine. They're white. But if I don't add bleach, they come out looking worse than they did when they went in because I'm supposed to be cleaning them. They come out with what we call grandma saying a telltale gray laundry. Where's that coming from? Is they're looking at the gray water right there.
Yeah.
Mary, if you were washing your clothes in this clear one with the bubbles, rather than this gray scummy stuff, do you think you'd ever need fabric softener or bleach again? She's going to say no. Who said that? She did. If I tell her, it's debatable. But if she sees it and understands it, it's gospel now. See the difference? Hand wash, same thing. We got to explain them why they're feeling, what they're feeling. Not that they're just going to have soft hands and that's silky smooth. You got to educate the people, tell them what they're feeling. What you're feeling right there is the skin oil's coming out of your pores. The treated water is doing the same thing to your skin that the hand lotion, the bath cream, body creams, all that other stuff, bath oils do to your skin. It's the same thing the treated water is doing. So if you had that feeling every day, I'm giving you the quick version, by the way, here, Josh.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I get it.
Why, if you had that feeling every day on your whole body, would you need bath oils, body creams, hand lotions, conditioners, or any of that stuff anymore? She's going to say no.
Right.
Which ties into the clothes at the end. They're going to understand the clothes. Which leads into some of your other questions. What happens in the clothes? Why do they lose it? That's why they're losing it in the clothes. It's not tied in. It's got to be one big presentation geared for the same thing. You know, a buddy of yours, Rob Anderson, you know, he was in a meeting one time in a dealership. First time I ever met the guy. Well, no, I met him in one of your calls a while back, but the first time he ever saw me. And he got up when I did a whole presentation. And he got up and he said, Robbie, you don't know me, but I know you now. That's the finest presentation I've ever seen in my life. Can I call you? I said, yeah. Well, he called me. We talked. And a few days later, he called me up and he said, you know what you're doing? I said, no, tell me what I'm doing. He said, you are teaching a value building demonstration. And I thought about that. I said, this guy's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's exactly what, I never thought of it that way. He said, you're building a value building demonstration. And what you are, you're not training sales reps. You're training master value builders. And he said, that's why your presentation is so strong. That's why it does what it does. And that's why it's the best I've ever seen. And he says, it's not about me, or it's about the customer, what they're spending now versus what they're going to spend. He said, your whole thing is valuable, and it's hard for them to say no. And that's what I do. And I never thought of it that way, but I think about it, he's totally correct. That's the difference.
It's interesting, and this leads me into my next question, but it's interesting the passion that Robbie shares here, guys. One of the things that I don't think that many sales reps do, and I've been in many sales demos or water demos inside the home, is they don't bring this level of excitement, right? One, maybe they don't understand what they're selling. Two, to your point a minute ago, like their sales manager gave them a script and now they're just reading from the script and they just seem robotic. So it leads me into this one. Like, how do you train reps to make the demo feel real versus scripted?
Well, the reason it's feeling scripted is because they're just reading a script.
Yep.
Part of the training is you got to get these guys to pitch each part back. And they got to drill, rehearse, practice till they know it by instinct. It becomes part of them. And that's the difference between the pros in our business or any sales business versus the amateurs. The amateurs don't know it. They're in there stumbling and they can't pivot if something happens. The doorbell rings and the wife leaves and their motion is done. Yeah, now they got to go back to where they were, and this is the problem. So whenever I train salesmen in my day, and what I do now is I go through part of it, I say it, plus I got my videos, and then the next thing is I have them pitch it back. By the time they're done in 4 or 5 days, they know that presentation. And what happens is confidence comes then, and confidence only comes from preparation.
Correct.
If you feel like you really don't know what you're doing, you're not confident. And that's the problem. And the customer sees that. You know what I'm saying? They see it. And the other thing is, you got to go in there and put on a $20,000 presentation to sell a $10,000 or a $12,000 system today. And most of the people in the water business are doing the complete opposite. They're selling a $5,000 water softener pitch and wondering why they get in all kinds of things like we want to shop around. You're the first guy we talk to. And that's the other problem, which that's a whole nother topic itself.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and I've always explained it to my sales guys and in many different industries is understand the why behind the words. Like I can have a script and my manager can give it to me in a piece of paper, but if I don't understand the why behind what I'm asking, the questions I'm asking to take a prospect from where they are today to where I want them to finish, like I'm never going to get there. The other thing I think that you mentioned, which was super interesting, is you got to give a $20,000 presentation to get a $10,000 or $12,000 deal.
Right.
Commission breath is the absolute worst. So if you're a sales rep and you're going into homes and you need that deal, to Robbie's point, to pay your car payment, your cell phone payment, your mortgage or whatever, like you better have the confidence in order to sell it. It comes from the training, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. They're not prepared.
Yeah. What I want to jump into anyway dollars. You can kind of see it on my shirt. I'm proud of it. We've been in this industry for 30 plus years, and we've been really fortunate enough to help water dealers and sales reps each and every night close more deals with anyway dollars. Why is the concept of anyway dollars or anyway dollars so powerful when it's explained properly?
Well, anyway, dollars is basically saying we're going to replace what they're spending now with different dollars, which are supposed to be less, and the system and the soap program and the clean water go with it. That's what it's supposed to do. That's the whole idea behind it. When I got into the water business, 19 years old, a long time ago, 76, they had the soap program. Now the soap was nowhere near as good as what we got today. It was a soap program.
Yeah.
But the idea of the soap program was we give them enough to cover the term of the contract. Mm-hmm. And back then, most of the contracts for finance was 5 years. So we had a 5-year soap program. So if the customer's spending on anyway dollars right now, let's say they're spending back then $100 a month on cleaning products. The payment might be $70. We're going to eliminate that $100. It's going to go away. We're going to drop you down to $50. The soap goes with it. The clean water goes with it. And the soap goes with it too. And then I'm going to say, Mr. Coleman, what's the system costing you then? He's got to say nothing. Who said it? He did. See what I'm saying? Now, here's where the problem comes. The salesman if he doesn't do his sink demo properly, that wife is sitting there thinking, I don't know about that soap. I like my Tide. I like my shampoo. She may not say it, But if she's thinking it, you're dead. You know what I'm saying? She's got to be convinced this is better soap. And a lot of times the sales rep, and this is for your business too, by the way, Josh, a lot of times the sales rep's going to get asked, the wife's going to say, well, what if I don't like that soap? Well, what do most salesmen do? They totally handle it all wrong. They start pulling out soap samples. They start pulling out the bar soaps, and they start selling them on the soap. Wrong. That's not what she's saying. What she's saying when she says, what if I don't like your soap? She means, what if I don't like the results? Because that's why she's buying soap. She's saying, what if I don't like the way my dishes look? What if I don't like the way my laundry looks? What if I don't like the way my hair feels? What if I don't like the way my shower doors look? That's what she's saying, which means we lost them back in the sink demo. Because if you do the sink demo right, that's not going to come up. Because they're showing it back in the sink demo. Mrs. Jones, if I can clean your face cloth there with just treated water with no soap, nothing, what am I going to do with soap?
Correct.
And they get it. So that doesn't even come up. So that's where a lot of salesmen lose it right there in the anyway dollars, because the customer doesn't believe it, because they don't understand. The salesman didn't put it across properly where they can get it. They believe it. Because I teach 3 closing questions after we're done with the presentation. 1, Tom and Mary, is there any reason why you want clean water in your home today? If I did my demo right, here's what I'm going to hear. No. How much is this thing? I don't know if we can afford it. Then I'm going to say, is cost the only reason you wouldn't want it? Yeah. If you could have clean water in your home today and it wasn't going to cost you any more than you're spending now, actually less, you'd want this thing right away, wouldn't you? Yeah, I'm asking for the order. Then I go into my T close, which you've seen this.
Yeah.
And early in the presentation, I already got their soap numbers from them, and I take them through the T close. Now I take them to the T close. Let's say they're spending $210 a month, $160 for cleaning products, $50 for bottled water, and the system's $180. So Tom and Mary, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that $210 away. It's going to go away. Those are dollars you're spending anyway, as you call it. They're gone. We're going to drop you down to $180. The only difference is with the $180, you're going to get all the benefits of clean water I showed you here today. You're going to get the soap program that I showed you here today, 10 years. And you're also going to get the system valued at $12,000 installed in your home with an RO system. Here's what I said. The system is valued at $12,000 or whatever they're selling it for. Not the cost, not the price, valued. Because when I came in here, you're paying for it. When I leave, you're going to pay for it. In regards to your anyway dollars, this is what the customer understands when I say this. Tom and Mary, when I came in, you had a bill. Today, when I leave your house, you're going to have a monthly bill. The only decision you really got to make, and as simple as could be, which bill do you want? Do you want to continue with the $210 a month, which is going to go on forever, like a runaway train, and it keeps going up every month you go to the supermarket?
Yep.
Or you want to lock it in and get $180, which stays the same for 10 years, and it ends, and you get everything. That's your decision. How hard of a decision is that?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because we always, when we're reaching out to, water dealers or other in-home improvement spaces, and one of the things is repositioning the dollar, right? It's the same concept, right? And guys and gals, if you're listening to this, please, you can understand his excitement. Robbie is super excited about this. He believes passionately in it. And I really want to go back to the 3 questions when you're closing, right? Before you get to the T close, can you just walk me through those 3 questions one more time?
Those 3 questions are going to tell me where I'm at with that customer. First question is this. Tom and Mary, is there any reason why you wouldn't want clean water in your home today? You hear what I'm saying? Not system or equipment, clean water in your home today.
Yep.
And what you get 99% of the time, and you can ask the people that I've trained, they'll tell you, all we usually get is, no, we don't know if we can afford it. How much is it?
After a great demo.
Yes. 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 Then I'm going to say, is cost the only reason you wouldn't want this? They say yes. And then I ask them for the order. Most salesmen never ask for the order. They say, they get down to the end, whatever they're pitching. Well, what do you think? And that's what they do. They go think. They don't ask for the order. Most salesmen don't know how to ask for the order. I'm asking for the order now. If I can show you it's not going to cost you any more than you're spending now, actually less than what you're doing, you'd want this thing right away, wouldn't you? They always say yes.
Yeah. But
what happens is, a lot of the salesmen then do the T close, and because they're doing it wrong, now they get other objections. Well, I didn't know it was going to be $12,000, or what they're really saying is, sales rep, you didn't show me it's not costing me anything. You lost me somewhere. Because where is the breakdown, Josh? The breakdown is in the close. They answer the 3 questions. They wouldn't have said that if they didn't want it. Especially the third one. Is there any reason why you want to clean water in your home today? What's going to cost you any more now? Actually, unless you'd want it right away. They say yes. They wouldn't say yes if they say something like, well, I don't know. Either way, we're going to still want to think about this. We just don't buy things the first day. Or anyway, whatever you show me, We still want
Yeah.
to shop around. That's what you normally hear. But when they say, yeah, show me, we'll take it. They're telling you, show me, it's not going to cost me. We want it now.
Yeah.
And then the
What,
salesman blows it in the T close or whatever close they're using.
what
That's the difference.
I want to go back to the T close, and we don't need to get into the fundamentals of it. Again, audience, if you guys you can reach out to Robbie, and at the end of this video or this podcast, we'll talk about ways for you can find Robbie, follow Robbie, those sort of things. But I want to, and in that, whenever you get access to Robbie, he'll walk you through the fundamentals of a T close. But high level, 10,000 foot view here. What's the difference between explaining anyway dollars? And actually getting someone to believe it versus not getting to believe it. And I want you to just talk high level about your T close. So you ask the 3 questions. We're at the close now. Like, then what happens? How do you go through this?
Where a lot of times the salesman loses it at the end with the anyway dollars or the extra bill or whatever is the customer doesn't believe the figure.
Correct.
And that's because the salesman put it across the way they wanted to put it across rather than get the answer from the customer. Used to be salesmen, and they still do it today. They pull out a sheet somewhere in the presentation. Let's talk about your cleaning products, Tom Mary. Do you use this? Do you use this? Do you use this? Do you use it? And the customer 90% of the time says, what's this got to do with testing my water? I didn't know you were here to sell me something. Right off the bat, they got the guy or the wife agitated. That's what happens. I don't do that. I do it this. And another reason is, where are they getting that cleaning product commitment? Are they getting it before they do the sink demo? Are they getting it during the sink demo? Are they doing it in the close? Because if you don't do it before all the water tests, they're not going to give you an honest answer because they know what you're doing. Even if somebody wants something, they don't want to be put in a trick box. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. They're not going to go along with it. See what I'm saying? So you have to get that cleaning product commitment before. And when I get it is, we do the hardness test when we go in, precept test, company credibility, hydrologic cycle, then I get cleaning products. And here's how I do it. Tom and Mary, let's talk about cleaning products. Have you seen the price of this stuff today, along with everything else at the supermarket? What are they going to say? Oh, yeah, everything's sky high. Let me ask you a question. If I gave you $35 and I said go to the supermarket and buy all the bar soaps, laundry soap, dish soap, shampoos, bath oils, body creams, hand lotions, conditioners, Ajexes, everything you needed to clean yourself, your home, and your family, am I really going to get change back in today's prices? Really? They say no. Most families got to add another 5 or 10. What do you think you are? They say 5. So I got $40 a week. Tom and Mary, while we're at the supermarket, let's talk about bottled water. How do you buy your bottled water? I don't ask them, do they? I assume they are because most people are. How do you buy your bottled water? 5, 10 bottles a day. Or if you're a Costco customer or one of these other places, you probably buy it by the case. 2 cases, 1 case, 3 cases a week. Well, we buy 2 cases a week. $7 a case, $14. That's 56. Let's just round up $60 a month for bottled water. That's all I say. I got my numbers. I know where I'm at in the T close. I got $214 here to cover my 180 payment. I know where I'm at. I got an honest number. Now, some people say, well, Robbie, where'd you get that $35 figure? You know where I got that $35 figure? You soap guys. I'm an expert in the water business. You're experts in the soap business. I'm not in the soap business. Take that $9,500 5-year value and divide it by 60 months. It comes to about $160. There's my $40 a week.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
That's where I'm getting it from.
Rob, what you just said is super interesting to me because I've seen it done both ways, right? Where somebody takes out a piece of paper and they're like, okay, what do you use in laundry detergent? What do you use in bar soaps? What do you use in shampoo? And they go through this tricking them, as you mentioned.
They know they're being set up.
Yeah, they're being set up, right? And so, go back to the fundamentals of what Robbie just said, which was if I gave you $35, if I gave you $40, we can talk about today's dollar versus 10 years ago dollar. It's going to change. But the idea here is get the customer to understand how expensive this stuff truly is. And then what we do is we use those anyway dollars to remove the money that they're spending anyway, right? So super, super good.
Anyway dollars is never going to work unless they believe it.
100%. Guys and gals, if you're listening to this, I want you to do me a favor. If you guys want to know how to use anyway dollars to close more deals, just do me a favor here. Text the word demo, DEMO, to 888-302-8522. One of my sales reps will get on a demo with you. We'll walk you through this. No obligations. Just simply talk to you about what Robbie and I are discussing today. Let's kind of wrap this whole thing up because I think that there's a lot of gold in here. And I want to ask you 2 really important questions. What's one change you've seen that immediately improves close rates across the sales team or a water business?
Not leaving a single thing out.
Mm.
You see, the thing is, If you're in the real estate business, guy walks in off the street, hey, we're looking for a new house. Oh, okay, good. So what kind of house you looking for? Well, we need 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, and we need a good size yards. We got kids. You as a sales rep know what to show them.
Yep.
Okay. In our business, you go in the customer's house, the customer's not going to say, hey, Josh, I'm pretty sure if you show me that soap flash test, that's what's going to convince me to buy today.
Right.
They don't know. We don't know. So we have to find what we call in the sales business their hot button. Okay. And the only way we can find that hot button in our business is do the whole presentation. Okay. Now,
don't leave anything out.
No, don't leave nothing out because you're going to have all kinds of reasons they bought. I had one lady, a salesman, tell me the other day that up at Andrews, you know who I'm talking about, Andrew up north.
Yeah.
One of his sales reps told me the other day, the woman told me at the end she bought because she didn't want to lug the bottled water in the house anymore. So, and I talked to her about the bottled water. But here's the thing. Once the salesman is done selling, he needs to do what we call a post-close on the way out the door. And what a post-close is this. He asked the husband in front of the wife and the wife in front of the husband, Mary, why did you decide to clean water in your home today? She's going to tell you, I just love the way my hands felt. I can't wait to do my laundry. And I can't wait to have my glasses look like that glass wash test. Fantastic. Tom, what about you? I think it's going to be healthier for my kids. I can't believe what I'm looking in that precip tube. I just don't want to drink it anymore. What just happened? We prevented the family discussion after the salesman leave. You're married. You know what I'm talking about. You may have leave and you get in the car and the wife says, what do you really think about that? I don't know. I thought you wanted it. No, I didn't want it. I'm going along with you. That doesn't come up. But here's what it's going to teach that sales rep. Now everybody buys this for the same reason.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to tell you the same reason. And you know what you never hear? We bought it because it saved us money. They never say that.
Exactly.
They didn't buy it because your car didn't save you any money. Your boat didn't save you any money. Your generator didn't save you any money. Your golf clubs, your shotgun, I don't care, TV set, new appliances. You bought all that stuff because you want it. And the only way we can create that want is in our presentation. And here's another problem. Dealers are out there on 10-year finance programs still trying to use 5-year soap. It doesn't work. Customer catches it. One of the questions in here, you're saying, why do we lose sometimes in the close? Why did the customer get it? That's one of the biggest reasons right there. These people aren't stupid. You know what I'm saying? And the idea of the soap program for the water people listening or anybody else, the idea of the soap program was to eliminate the cleaning bill they got now with the system payment they're going to have now for the same term. So if you've got a 5-year financing, 5-year soap program. You've got 10-year soap program, you got to give them 10-year soap. Either that or you're not telling them the truth. That's the big problem. And they're worrying about the difference between a 5 and a 10-year, and they're losing thousands. It's crazy.
One of the things you just said, and I think, if you just fast forward it all the way to the end of this thing, is don't leave anything out. It's something that stuck with me. And there's so many times that I see it. A sales rep walks into the home, maybe it's nervous, they lack the confidence, they haven't done it enough, they haven't practiced enough, not enough repetition, but they get in there and they want to hurry because they feel like they're inconveniencing the prospect, right? And so for everybody listening, you are solving a problem that they have, assuming that the water test comes back and there is a problem, right? So when Robbie talks about making like a badass demo, like you cannot afford to leave anything out or you'll lose me as a prospect. My last question, if you had to fix one thing in a struggling sales organization, just one thing, what would it be?
Train them properly, teach them how to do the sync demo. The battle's won at the sync. The idea is eliminate all the objections when they come up. When you get, for any salesperson, listen, the objections you get at the end, the customer is telling you what you need to work on in your presentation. If I keep hearing them say, after I've asked them those 3 closing questions, we can't afford it, we just can't afford 12,000, what they're really saying to you is, hey, salesman, you didn't show me it's not going to cost me anything. Yeah. I don't understand the anyway dollars. You may call them anyway dollars. I don't understand it. But they're not going to say to you, hey, I'm too stupid to understand what you show me. Please do it again. They just don't buy. If they say, well, you're the first guy we looked at, we want to shop around. What they're saying is, hey, salesman, you didn't cover your credibility good enough for me, or I wouldn't be saying out of your company. Why would I want to go shop around? When Home Depot picked this one, Costco picked this one, all these other places picked it. Why would I want to do that? Because the salesman didn't cover that part of the presentation properly. The customers are telling you what you need to go work on in your presentation. Or they wouldn't have answered those 3 closing questions. Yes, yes, yes. and then come up with objections. What they're really saying, you didn't show me, sales rep. I don't get it. I didn't understand
Yeah.
it. And that's your fault, sales rep, not mine.
What I lied. I'm going to ask you one more. What's a
You
sales
can ask me
standard
all you
you
want.
refuse to compromise on today? A sales standard you refuse to compromise on today, and I think I know the answer. No matter what the organization is, whether it's Rainsoft or Eco Water or Purana, it doesn't matter what the company is. What's one standard you refuse to compromise on today?
Not shortcut the demo. If you're going to do anyway dollars, do the soap program correctly. That means 10-year financing, 10-year soap, 5-year financing, 5-year soap, and versa. Those are the things. You've got to be totally honest with the people. You got to tell them the truth. You got to educate them as you're doing the sink demo. You got to, one of the reasons, if they don't tell these people why they're buying the cleaning products that they're buying today and why they're not working, they're going to have a hard time believing your products at
Correct.
the end. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
she's sitting there thinking, I like my soap. If I don't like my soap, now I got to go back and buy the soap I got. But now, if I don't like the one he's got, now I got 2 payments. That's what they're thinking. So they've got to get that customer convinced, not only why they're buying that stuff they're buying now, and a lot of it's going to be gone, which is done in the demo. And most sales reps, I'm telling you the truth, don't do that. They don't tell them why. They just say, look at this. Here's what you got. You're going to save this and save that. And they sound like everybody and their brother. Everybody's in there telling them they're going to save money on soap. No, they're not. Listen to me. They're not saving a darn thing when you walk through that door. They've got a total big waste.
Yeah.
That's what they got. They're wasting on cleaning products. They're wasting on bottled water. They got a waste. And that's what we got to overcome, because people today have come to the conclusion save means it's going to cost them. I mean, I go to stores in my neighborhood and they got a save sign in the window. It's been there for 10 years. You go to the supermarket, every item on the shelf underneath says save 2 cents, save 3. People come, they don't even pay attention to the word save. They've come to the conclusion the word save means it's going to cost me. So if the salesman's in there pitching savings, he's losing.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. It's the truth.
Hey guys, for guys, gals, anybody listening, Robbie's a giant in this space. He's been doing it for a really long time. He's super passionate about this stuff. Robbie, if they wanted to follow you, find you, follow you, anything, how would they do that?
They can go to my website. It's Robbie, F-L, R-O-B-B-I-E-F-L for Florida.com. They can read about me, sign up for my website, my training. My training's real expensive, $199 a month. It's unbelievable. There's over 95 videos on there, everything pertaining to our business. No blue sky, no nonsense, everything that's going to help you do sales today, closing techniques, demo techniques, handling objections, how to get in the house, how to get referrals, how to be a professional sales rep in this business. And people ask me all the time, is this the way you always talk? This is the way I always talk. I'm the same way in my videos. This is the way I was when I was a sales rep. Because you've got to be enthusiastic of what you're selling. You got to transfer that to that customer. Now you're going to put them to sleep.
Yeah.
If that's what's going to sell. The enthusiasm is what sells. The passion is what sells. You've got to transfer it to them. They're going to want to buy this thing. I don't want to sell them nothing. I want them to buy it.
Correct.
And you think about yourself. If you ever bought a car or a boat or anything, did the salesman really sell it to you? No, you wanted it. You bought it. You may have worked them for a better deal, but you wanted it. You bought it. Yeah. The same thing goes in our business. In our sync demo is our test drive. When you test drive a car, you're driving down the road and you're in that car and you're saying to yourself, boy, I like this car. I want this car. I'm going to buy this car. Or you're saying, I don't like this car. It's not for me. I don't like it. If you don't like the car, you get back to the dealership. You tell the sales rep this, give me a couple days, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to take that car. It's a great car. I love the car. Just give me a few days. Call me Wednesday or Friday, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to take it. What are you telling that sales rep?
I'm not buying it.
You're not buying it. Well, let me tell you something, salesman. When they tell you this and else, they're telling you the same thing. If you were buying that car, you're saying things like, when can I get it? What's my payments going to be? What are you going to give me on trade? You got any special finance rates? That's what they should be saying at the end of our presentation. They should be hitting you with buying questions, not nonsense. Nonsense. They're telling you, you didn't sell me, sales rep. Go back to your office, get with your sales manager, get your act together. You know what I'm saying? Here's another thing we hear today. I know I'm probably going all over.
No, I love it, Robbie. Let's go.
Another thing. Well, this type of nationality don't buy. This occupation doesn't buy. This neighborhood doesn't buy. I hear this all the damn time.
Yeah.
Okay? This particular type of person doesn't buy. Whatever. Here's the thing. It's all nonsense.
Mhm.
Some of these smart people, smart nationalities, you got to be on your A game. You can't be messing around with them, okay? Because see, the thing is, I had a sales rep tell me the other day, well, they just don't buy it. I said, good. Let me ask you a question. When you went to the house, did they have a house? Yeah. When you went in the house, was he wearing clothes? Yeah. Did they have a kitchen, sink, dishwasher, all that? Yeah. Do you think they drink water? Yeah. Do you think they do laundry, take a bath, do dishes? Yeah. Do you have furniture in the house? Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They're different.
Just like all of us, right?
That's exactly right. The salesman's got stinking thinking. They prejudge the damn thing before they went in the house.
So good. So
Nobody
good.
wants to sit there and drink bad water and have polluted chemical soap. You know what I'm saying? And another thing on the soap, when we present the soap in the tea close, you say to people, Tom and Mary, why are we giving you the pure soap? Here's why. We're taking all the bad stuff out of your water. We're taking all the chemicals out, all the stuff that's bad. The last thing we wanted to do was leave you with chemical loaded detergent, phosphate loaded soap. Does it make sense to take your dishes after you put clean water in your house, wash them in the clean water, and then dump Cascade and Jet Dry on top of it? And then when it dries, it leaves it behind in your dish. It doesn't make any sense, does it? We're
No.
eliminating all the chemicals that direction too. Because I showed you here earlier. Look at the way everything looked here with just clean water. Mary, you're never going to get it as clean like this. It's not your fault. It's the water you got. But with the
Yeah.
pure soap program, it's better for you. It's healthier for you. It's just a win-win all overall.
Guys and
They
gals,
understand it.
I'm going to cut us off right now, Robbie. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your enthusiasm, your drive to make organizations better. Robbie works with some of the giants in the space, guys and gals, like the big companies. Um, you come, you've been a supporter of liquid soap products for a really long time. For that, we appreciate you, Robbie. RobbieFL.com. And I'm going to say it again, RobbieFL.com. You can read about Robbie, his experience in the business. If you want to sign up for his coaching program, he's a wealth of knowledge. He helps sales organizations truly close more deals. So, Robbie, I appreciate your time. I'm going to ask you to hang on right here as soon as I take us off of record here. But again, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good selling, everybody. Go get the sale.
Thanks, Robbie.
Mhm.